The world could always use more heroes.
Hello and welcome. How is everybody doing today? This is Frosty and this is Overcast, episode 006. I hope you all are doing fantastic. I'm here joined by my friend Chris Matrix, aka Matrix Overwatch. What are you up to, man? How are you?
What up, what up? How's everybody doing tonight? Man, it feels like it's been way too long since we did a cast.
Yeah, we had that holiday in there and a little bit of an extended break, but we got a
Whoa, whoa,
lot
whoa,
of.
whoa, whoa, hold up. I gotta hold you there for a second. Where's your swag?
It's right here, right here. It's it's
Where? Uh,
it's it's way hot in here, so. But I
Dude,
did get my
it's like,
swag.
man, you're failing me already.
There we go. We got our
Failing me.
advert.
There we go. There we go.
There we go.
Anyways,
I got it
how
right
are
here.
you guys doing tonight? Hmm? Is everybody doing well? How are you doing, Frosty? How's your weekend been going?
Actually, it's been going fantastic. Just I got a 3-day weekend. We get Jefferson Davis's birthday tomorrow, and since I work for the court, we get that off. So, President of the Confederacy, we celebrate his birthday here in Alabama. So, hey, free day off work, I'll take it no matter what it is.
That's got to be the most bullcrap holiday I ever heard. I mean, we get like Cesar Chavez Day here on the West Coast,
That's
but
true.
man, like really?
I know, right? But like I said, I'll take it. Day off is a day off, so I can get further through The Witcher, I guess. That's what I'll probably end up doing tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess, man. So how's your internship going?
Oh man, everything the internship is actually going really well. I've been doing tons of just legal research. I'm actually writing some policies and employment law stuff that we're doing right now. So that's a big chunk of what I've been up to. A lot of boring policies, when you sign up for a company or when you start a job at a company and they're like, you can do this, you can't do that, that kind of thing. That's what I'm researching the legality of that. So, yuck.
Oh,
You
joy.
you think they'd already have that in place before I got there, but nope, they didn't.
Wow. That just sounds like busy work if you ask me, but
And yeah, and other than that, just playing more Heroes of the Storm, and I've actually been really getting into Sylvanas and Jaina lately. So
Oh yeah?
I've been really enjoying that gameplay, and I was telling Kaz, my wife, the other day that hey, I played a handful of games with these characters, and since I play so many support classes, my number of takedowns has like skyrocketed. It's crazy, so I'll take that. Yeah, I feel a lot more useful now, killing people,
Oh
I
yeah.
guess.
Oh yeah. Supports are a great way to affect gameplay, which we're going to talk about later today.
Exactly. Now, remember, also just want to thank everybody that showed up for the pre-stream show, the pre-stream mingle. We're gonna make that a bigger and bigger thing, especially as we get up there. And remember to also follow us on Twitter at Overcast Show, and you can also follow the blog posts or anything like that. The overcastshow.blogspot.com and frozenfoxradio.com for any other announcements or any of our other shows. So now, what have you been up to? I'll throw that your way.
Things have been hectic in the workplace. We're facing staffing issues, and of course, I'm HR, so I get to hire a bunch of new people. Yay!
Yay! Do you get to do interviews?
Yo, every day, dude. It's very hectic. But that, and also here in California, we actually have a new paid sick leave law going into effect. So all the HRs for all the branches in my company were all kind of like frantically going, "Oh, we gotta get ready for this." So, so we just been working on that. I've been catching up on a lot of my missed anime. I finally got caught up on crap. I always forget the proper name of it, but is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Uh, Honestly, it's a freaking hilarious anime, and I've absolutely fallen in love with it. And if you guys have a Crunchyroll account, go watch it. It's freaking amazing.
Nice. I
Um,
have to try that one then.
yeah. Been playing a lot more Heroes. I've recently picked up Zeratul once again.
Nice.
Fallen in love with him. Getting back into some more Illidan type gameplay as well.
There you go.
And it's been really fun just getting to get into that game, delve in, and see what exactly they're going to be doing come launch tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah, that's
So
true. That's true. Tomorrow
yeah,
is the day.
tomorrow's the day of Heroes of the Storm's official launch. For those of you guys who don't know, Blizzard's going to be doing a huge live streaming event over in London. I believe it starts at 12:30 Pacific tomorrow. So if you're not at work, you're not busy, go check that out. It's Blizzard, so you know it's going to be freaking amazing.
It's great because it's like I always say, it's finally real. Like I mean, it's been real for a long time, but it's now
Right.
it's real. Like everybody can get in there and play, even though the open beta started what 2 weeks ago or a week ago or whatever, so that they kind
Hmm.
of just opened the floodgates anyway. But now it's legit. So
Release the hounds!
exactly. I wonder if they were trying to see if with opening the floodgate a little bit early, if they could get some people in and see if they could flood the servers a little bit, try to test some of the infrastructure so
They could
that
have.
so that on launch day, it's quote unquote launch day, you wouldn't have any stability issues maybe.
Yeah, I don't see them having too much of stability issues since it's been in open beta for a couple of weeks now. So
Yeah,
anybody who's wanted to get their hands on the game already has their hands on the game.
that's
So
true.
the launch is basically just a party.
Yeah, exactly. It's a launch. It's a party for them to say, you know what, we did it. It's here. Let's just celebrate. I mean, and we know how Blizz likes to celebrate, especially like those WoW launches,
Yeah,
champagne.
and they do it. They do it big.
That's right.
So, anyways, guys, thank you guys for coming in. This is Overcast episode 006. I'm Chris Matrix. Frosty here, the amazing host. Let's delve into these. Let's delve into this week's topic, shall we?
Let's jump right in it. Now, since our last show, we have been flooded, inundated, whatever you want to say, with
Bombarded.
bombarded. Great. We've been bombarded with gameplay videos, and
Mhm.
we've been able to look at them and watch them and dissect them and salivate over them, I guess too, because any new videos is like gold for us
Uh,
because we don't get much. So
yeah. So over the week we've had, or over the last 3 weeks, we've had Zenyatta, Mercy, McCree, Hanzo, Tracer, and Symmetra
yep, that's
come
it.
out.
So let's roll some footage on Zenyatta and get some thoughts on them.
So when I first saw the Zenyatta gameplay, I was like, really? They're gonna release this hero first? Like someone who's not even like kind of on the radar with them? Because they've got the big people. You've got Tracer, you've got Widowmaker, you've got Winston, like all the people who showed up in the actual trailer. Then they decided, hey, let's release Zenyatta.
That's right. Now,
Really? Like, so when I first saw this gameplay video, I was a little skeptical at first. Just watching like the first 2, maybe 3 minutes of the match was rather interesting, and I don't think it's actually showing up on the stream.
yeah,
But
I'm working on that.
okay. But
I'm just having to reinitialize the window. We're good.
okay. But one thing you will notice right off the bat is, and we're gonna talk about this a little later, but I'm just gonna kind of preface it now. Zenyatta is a support character. Bracket that support character. But one thing you'll notice is she actually has a lot of kill potential as a support.
Definitely
Now,
does.
a lot of people, at least from what I saw via forums and other that, were like, well, why can she do so much damage when she's a support? We'll get into that later. But going through this video and just kind of seeing the way that the internal teams that are, of course, playing, of course, if you didn't know, everybody who was playing in that match is a Blizzard employee.
That's true.
Da-da-da. But watching how like the support characters actually do mesh in with the team and perform in order to achieve victory is something that is what I feel like is a breath of fresh air. I mean, I am a pretty big FPS player myself. Again, I'm gonna go into that later, but just looking at it, I can tell that Zenyatta can be one of those people who can greatly affect a team, even if she's not getting kills.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
yeah. Now Zenyatta is. It's interesting to watch the gameplay that kind of standoffish and just launch those orbs. What did you think
Mhm.
about that? I mean, that's pretty awesome.
I find it cool. I think one of the main reasons why they actually released Zenyatta was because Zenyatta is the only non-tank hero in that game that doesn't use a physical weapon or a handheld weapon.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, just because
I mean,
they have kind of like those, whatever you want to call the orbs that just kind of float around there. So they just use a force, I guess, to propel them.
right. So if you're looking at the video, you could tell it's almost a completely different kind of field of view when you're looking at it, because you've got your hands flying around. You don't have this gun blocking, like taking up a quarter of your screen. So it's really interesting to me to see them put a hero in like this. And just watching the gameplay, I'm kind of like eyeing it out of the corner of my eye here, and it's just amazing to see what they could see. And it is one of the most unique heroes that I've seen in any kind of hero-based or team-oriented game, which I find really refreshing.
Yeah, and I think the versatility of Zenyatta as well, being able to obviously deal a good amount of damage, but also their ability to be able to heal the team. A lot of utility there. Offensive and defensive capabilities of being able to support and kind of go on the attack if you want.
And one big thing I actually noticed in just about all the videos, of course, everybody has an ultimate ability. You could see down there at the bottom center, you see a little gauge filling up. You see it filling up whenever they deal damage.
Yep.
Not on kills, not assists, but doing something to physically affect the gameplay, no matter what it is. If you're healing somebody, if you're debuffing somebody, in Zenyatta's case, or if you're dealing damage to them, your ultimate meter is filling up, which is something I really like to see. Why? Because it's a pain in the neck when you have to fill up an ult bar solely based off kills, especially when you're like a support or a tank. It's too much.
Yeah.
To base it solely off of kills. So being able to see that, I mean, even when, even like Tracer or McCree or, any other role, they're gaining their ultimate bar by dealing damage. Not by killing people, but by dealing the damage or with the objectives.
Exactly. Being able to just kind of participate in the match and be able to build up that ability. It's a lot, I think that's a better way to do it, like you said. You don't have to just deal with, okay, I've got to kill, because, like you said, not everybody's going to be doing that. You're going to have people in the support range that, they're not going to be as equipped to do that, and you don't want to have them be, I guess, say, handicapped with that.
Absolutely, and also, like, even with tanks, too. Well, everybody, really, but something that's more, I guess you could say, tank-centric is you will actually gain bar when you take damage as well, which is another great thing.
Yes. Well, so let's move on to Mercy. I guess I'm a little biased with that one.
All right, I'll let you talk about Mercy here for a minute.
As you can see, our background has changed this week with some of our favorite characters. So let's go on to Mercy here. Now, Mercy was. I'll tell you some of the things I really found about this video that I liked a lot. I played Mercy at BlizzCon, and then watching somebody else that I think is better than me, of course, playing at it was really interesting because they seem to really master kind of the mobility aspect of Mercy. I mean, I only got a couple rounds in there, so I didn't have a lot of time to practice. But really watching, and here where she was with Pharah, watching them kind of both fly around because they both have that high mobility was really interesting. You'll see that in a second here when they both kind of take off, and you'll see them, kind of still beamed up. I guess you could kind of call. I don't know what you call it yet. We'll have to make all these acronyms. Tethered. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But you could really see that ability, of healing your team, and the awesome thing of being able to heal kind of around the corner, because like you said, you get tethered. And so being able to protect yourself and be kind of in complete seclusion sometimes, but still being able to offer complete support to somebody, say, around a corner who's taking damage and dealing it out maybe at the same time, or is in a strategic position to keep an objective or something like that. Or maybe you can be in that strategic position and they can be at a choke point on the outside, and they that's a different strategy I guess you could employ with that.
Yeah, there's, from what I've seen from Mercy, there's all kinds of crazy things you could do. I mean, of course, she's got her sidearm so she could still put out damage, but and from what I can tell of it, at least the person playing her in this video, took more of a passive role, and that is to where she's, okay, I'm gonna stay back, I'm gonna buff my allies, I'm gonna heal them up, I'm going to give them more damage, but for the most part, I'm going to try to stay away from the action.
Exactly.
Which perfectly legitimate way to play, especially someone like Mercy who has, you know, that awesome healing capability and the buff and damage when she's got so many people already on her team, like Hanzo, a couple of others as well that can
I think
already put
Zara's
up
on there,
damage.
yeah. And then
So
also that res right there that you saw, that's actually a global res apparently. From a lot of discussion going back and forth, but I think that's global from what we've been hearing. So it doesn't matter if you're in line of sight or not.
yeah, that might be something that they look at.
Yeah,
because
that's a
having
little
a
bit OP.
global res like that is just like, okay, my whole team died. I'm nowhere to be seen. Oh,
Yep, exactly.
no.
Now-
I honestly don't see that making it into final build, but
Yeah, I agree.
it's an interesting concept. Don't get me wrong, but just by looking at the video, I can see how Mercy can really affect a team, like even by being completely passive, just by sitting back, you know, healing people up, buffing their damage. The support role is looking really good right now.
Exactly. I think she has decent survivability. That sidearm, like in any time I'd played, and I think you can see in this video too, that little sidearm pistols, it's still pretty potent for being, being a support class. So I mean, you're not going to stand on your own 2 feet with it all the time, but if you get somebody in a good position, you can take them out usually. So that was there goes that double dragon. But
Good old Hanzo.
The other thing that I hope they change, if there's anything other than we were talking about the res. If there's anything else that I want them to change on Mercy, because I know I'm going to be playing her a lot, is when she takes damage, her gasping sound is really loud and kind of annoying. It's like, and it's really loud. I don't know if you've heard it in the background yet, but yeah, it's like, whoa.
No, I have the stream on mute, so I don't hear anything that goes on. But,
yeah, it's kind of insane. So if go back and watch that video and you'll see. But it's still pretty fast, even though you're kind of hanging back and being a support and being able to just flip back between, this person's low on health in their team and I'm going to assist in taking them out and then healing up your team. I love that aspect. So, all right, should we move on to McCree? I mean,
I'm actually really excited about McCree because I saw this video. I had my reservations about him at first because looking at his kit, it was like, okay, so he's going to be some kind of high-risk, high-reward fool who plays a lot like Hanzo, but he's just a cowboy.
Yes.
Big whoop. So I saw this video, and it changed my opinion on him. I mean, yeah, he's got a 6-shooter. He does have an ability to let him quick reload. Actually seeing it in action made me feel a lot better about this character actually existing in the game, because after you look at it and you see, okay, well he can put 12 rounds down range really quickly, and then his ultimate too, which is just, my opinion, beyond reason. but that was another thing that I was concerned about too, was his ult being ridiculously overpowered. But when you look in the video, his ult can be countered by a Reinhardt shield.
Yes.
Or a Winston shield. I mean, and that kind of irks me in a way, because when an ultimate can easily be countered by someone's base ability, it's just kind of like, what?
It doesn't feel as ultimate anymore then.
Exactly, it doesn't feel that great, but I can see the necessity for it because it is an instant kill.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't matter who it hits, it's going to instantly kill them. I mean, it could be Winston at full health with, buffed damage and health, he's gonna go down. So I can see the necessity behind it. I'm a little bit irked by it, but just after watching the gameplay and seeing how someone can actually maneuver around and affect the game as McCree, made me feel a lot better about it.
Yeah, one thing I really like about McCree is everything. I think a lot more than some of the other heroes. His abilities and his sayings and things like that are a lot more thematic with his character than a lot of the others.
True.
I mean, I love how he's just like, oh, thanks for the help, when he gets healed and things like that. And that ultimate, like when it goes into that kind of like sepia toned shot. Got a kick out of that every time I see that. So I love his little sayings. Go and watch that video on the Play Overwatch channel. You'll love it too. So, all right, we did Hanzo before, so let's go ahead and just see his gameplay video here.
So again, after watching this video too, it did make me feel a lot better about this hero actually being in the game. Because when we first talked about Hanzo, we talked about his arrows,
Yes.
right? His basic attack. It's actually a lot faster than I had imagined it would be.
I saw that too. I was one of the things I noticed as well. So I think we're on the same page with that one because I was worried about that being really slow and cumbersome.
So after looking at it, it's like, okay, I can see the viability of actually playing this hero now without feeling too much like I'm playing Shaco in League of Legends and either being freaking amazing or just being absolute crap. So I think the speed at which he can fire his arrows works really well, and of course you hold it down longer, more damage. So it brings in a new aspect of gameplay, which, okay.
He's speechless right now, but yes, the aspect that he has when he can just, like you saw right there, it's pretty quick. He can deal that damage right there, pinpoint accuracy, and I really am enjoying watching when I see this video that he's kind of running around like this lone wolf, and he's picking people off like I kind of expected to see, but a lot easier than I thought it would be too. A lot faster. He just kind of lines them up, and he can do either a lot of damage or take them down pretty quick.
Oh, for sure. And I apologize. Some saliva went down the wrong way, and I started choking. Ugh. But just by looking, and even looking at his mobility too, it looks like, I mean, from what we've seen and from all the talks that have been going around the internet, yeah, it does look like he can only move and climb in certain areas, which perfectly fine. But it looks a lot more fluid in the gameplay video than what we had originally anticipated. So it makes Hanzo look like much more of a viable decision for any kind of team-based play. That was my major concern with Hanzo, was that, okay, this is just going to be someone, a person who plays Hanzo is just going to be someone who's looking to public stomp.
Yes.
Whenever they're in matches, like, oh, I'm going to go Hanzo and I'm just going to wreck everybody. Okay, but then they play badly and now your team loses. From what it seems, it looks like he can affect and play on a team level a lot better than what I had originally thought. So.
Now, with his ranged abilities, do you think he's going to be a pretty good either a companion or a threat with Widowmaker? On the same team or opposite?
Man, you had to blindside me with that one.
I know, right?
From what I can see, Widowmaker and Hanzo fill two completely different roles. Widowmaker is more of a flanking type person who likes to remain in the back of the field. Hanzo, while yeah, he does have quite a bit of range, if you see in the gameplay video, of course these people have been playing for a while, he's more low to mid range. Of course, because it makes his arrows easier to hit, the arc's not as bad, so on and so forth.
Yep.
I see it being complementary to Widowmaker. I see them synergizing pretty well together, but at the same time, they're filling two different niches in a team composition.
I agree. I think that they do have the two different niches, and I really, when I looked at this, I was thinking, if you had Widowmaker and him on a team, you can kind of you have all that high mobility, lots of good range, and they can, like you said, they can complement each other pretty well. So that's how I kind of felt about it when I saw that.
Yeah, and it's definitely possible. I think Hanzo is looking like he's in a better place than what I originally thought. So it's going to be real interesting to see what they do with Hanzo in the future.
Yep. All right, now let's roll into Tracer. And Tracer.
Don't get me. Oh, dude.
This gameplay was so. I mean, I knew Tracer was going to be fast, but this was fast. Like, this made me feel like I could never play as Tracer. This person, had, was dialed in.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna hate every single Tracer I come across. Every single Tracer. I mean, I'm speechless. Just watching the gameplay and watching Tracer literally just zip, 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 zip. Oh, reverse, zip, zip, zip. Oh, It got on my nerves.
Now, how about that drop the grenade and then warp back play? Oh my gosh. Like, what are you going to do when you're on the other side of that? It's just, I was like, oh no.
Needless to say, I'm going to see a lot of bad Tracers.
I think you will too. I think a lot of people are going to flood into the Tracer. But I mean, if you can play like this person, she just devastates this team. And I mean, I'll spoil it and just say right at the end of that match when she gets that 25 kill streak,
Oh.
I was like, good gosh.
Like Tracer as a hero functionally looks really sleek, really solid, and it has a high skill cap. You've got to know when you can go in and out. You've got to watch your charges of your dash, and you've got to know when your time warp is up so you don't get yourself killed.
Yeah, and right there's the Tracer on Tracer kill, where the Tracer tried every trick they could to get out of the other one's field of view. Just didn't
Right.
work.
And you know, maybe it's just me. I'm a Widowmaker player, so, and naturally Widowmaker just hates Tracer, so.
And now my wife remarked to me that this was the gameplay video that made her the most sick because it's zip 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 zip, and she already gets a little motion sick anyway with most first-person shooters. And I think we watched this one on the TV for maybe a minute and a half, and she was like, "I'm done, turn it off."
Yeah. It's definitely very fast-paced, Tracer's gameplay, but at the same time, it's going to take a lot of patience and a lot of skill in order to play her effectively.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of practice, a lot of learning, a lot of muscle memory you're going to have with this one.
Definitely.
This made me think of like playing Counter-Strike in the old day, but even faster.
Old school Counter-Strike was nowhere near this fast.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, this is just insane. So
I should say my old days of it.
Yeah. But just watching it, it's just like, why? Naturally, I don't get me wrong, I'm gonna play a lot of Tracer. Why? So I know how she plays and I know how to kill her.
Exactly. And you're
Only
gonna you're gonna snipe her, and then you'll blow the smoke out at the end of your barrel every time.
Exactly. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go.
Exactly.
See ya.
All right.
All
Should
right.
we run on to Symmetra now?
Yeah. So Symmetra was interesting. Not gonna lie, it looked very different.
It was very different. It was very. It's kind of a lot slower than even any of the other heroes we've seen. A lot more on your own, standoffish. It seemed like too.
Yeah, it looks like she would be more suited as kind of a defensive support. And when I mean by defensive support, I mean like somebody who's back holding objectives or setting up chokes, more than
Yes.
actually being a support and supporting their front line.
Yeah, with that I think she has like a mine ability that she can put down, and that's the one where I can't remember what the mine is called or whatever, but I think she can stick it somewhere and then
The sentry turrets?
sentry turret. Yeah, it's a turret. Sorry. I think it was
Yeah, no,
something else.
Widowmaker's got the mines.
You got the mine, yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah,
But-
seeing that you're just kind of hanging back, defending whatever, say if you're defending the objective and the fight's not right there for some reason, you're going to be back there prepping, I think.
Yeah, that's just what it feels like when you see her. And I'm not disappointed by it by any means. I mean, it's good to have somebody I think she would work really well with someone like Torbjorn.
Exactly. I'm going to go and fast forward a little bit in here so the match actually started, so you can actually
Yeah.
see more of the action.
But it seems really interesting that they put someone in here like this to kind of complement almost kind of like Torbjorn's turret style defense, Bastion's turret style defense. It all looks like, it's going to work out very well.
And I think, you have her kind of in the background doing the support, and then Mercy's kind of more that frontline support with the high mobility and kind of that high healing power that's just zooming around. So
Yeah, and then also the portals.
Yep.
Looks like it'd be a freaking blast.
now you're thinking with portals, right?
Now you're thinking of portals. It doesn't help that she already has a gun that looks like a portal gun.
That's true. Yeah, I was
mean,
just
come
thinking
on.
about that when we said that. So
It's like, come on, Gladys, where are you? We're waiting for you. But I think that's gonna be it for the videos. Yeah.
that is all we have for now with the videos. So tell us what you think when you see those, or let us know on Twitter, on anything, or if you're in the stream, let us know what you think about those videos, because we have our own opinions of those, and we watch that and kind of see where we would do that. And my wife in the stream just said how appropriate the Widowmaker hates Tracer. I just caught that. But let us know what you think about that, And who out of that would you want to play the most? And who would you want to kill the most? Though we know yours.
Yeah, let's not get started.
So now with this out of the way, there's something else that kind of came up that I wanted to go ahead and address. And I've seen some people talking about it on forums, and I thought about it, and I've had some discussions about it with some other people. And the kind of where are we going to get any kind of single player to explain the heroes? Now, maybe this is what I was thinking. Are we going to have anything in game that will give us the background of the heroes? I mean, we can read the bios on the website, of course, but are they going to try anything else to introduce them? So I was thinking, we could have a tutorial mode or a bonus that comes with the game. Like, say, if it's a buy game, we're going to buy the actual game. If we're going to get like a DVD maybe about the Omnic Crisis or something like that.
Mm, You know, looking at it and looking at the design of the game, it does not appear that it is designed to be single player whatsoever.
And
I
that's,
mean,
yeah,
just look at it. It's a multiplayer hero-based team objective shooter. And like I know this was a huge discussion. I believe I saw something about it on Reddit. But it's great that people want to know the lore. People want to get involved. They want to know the characters intimately. That's great. I love it. I love the lore just as much as the next person, or the next freaking fangirling nerd. But it's not what the game was designed to be. The
yeah,
game was designed to be a multiplayer experience, a team-based experience. So from everything I've seen and from my experiences with these kinds of games, I don't see a single player being in whatsoever. Maybe like a slight tutorial with, of course, Tracer, but
hmm
but it, there's not going to be a single player. I will eat my words if they put in a full-fledged single player, but from what I can see, it's not going to happen. Just it's not.
And I agree with you too, because I just don't see any. They'd have to build so many more assets or anything to
Hmm.
build a single player into. I don't see that happening really at all. And the other thing that crossed my mind, I don't know if you played Titanfall.
I was huge into Titanfall when it first came out. It was, and yeah, I can kind of, yeah,
I was like, oh, I don't want it
no,
to be like that single player because here's like a
because that
tiny little
sucked.
cinematic and a tiny paragraph, but there's no really story. You're gonna go play another multiplayer match.
Yeah,
And
right.
so I don't think they're gonna fall into that trap, and that would be like you know
I mean, it's
pretty
Blizzard
bad.
we're
So
talking
yeah,
about,
it's
right?
not gonna happen. I
Yeah, Blizzard knows their stuff when it comes to multiplayer games.
But the theory I had is that Metzen plays these up as comic book heroes. So
Right.
why don't we get comic books for them that'll explain their history? We can go through their whole story in just a really short comic book. Say if they do have a game that you actually buy, we buy and play, and in the collector's edition you can get a comic book for each hero at launch or something like that. And that I would buy that in a heartbeat because that would be crazy to read that through all that and just to kind of get the background of these different characters and the Omnic Crisis and what has led us to this point. Like, how did we get here? Because we're pretty limited what we got. The other thing I could see is maybe like a cinematic that it will be available, or
Hmm.
my wife proposed the idea also of World of Warcraft had like the Chow How things with Mists of Pandaria and those kind of cinematics that they released for World of Warcraft just online, and maybe we would see something like that leading up to Overwatch, and they would just explain everything that way. So
I
possibilities.
definitely see that happening. And with a lot of these multiplayer titles that are, out, the real big popular ones, you know, I'm gonna reference League here. Whenever they've released something new, or even a lot, they even went back and revisited a lot of their old stuff too. They released, a video to the masses via YouTube
Yep,
with a little bit of their lore, or like some sort of explanation of who that character is.
exactly.
So I see Blizzard doing that. I see Blizzard going along that route because if you notice, they've been doing a lot more in their cinematics department a lot as of recent. So
Yeah, and it wouldn't you don't all of us want to watch more Overwatch cartoons? I mean,
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
maybe we'll just
I,
have a cartoon right now. I'm just kidding.
I mean, Blizzard's probably going to be the single-handed reason why Pixar fails because they're just going to take everybody and say, "Hey, make Overwatch movies."
Ooh, shots fired. Just
Shots
kidding.
fired.
All right.
Anyways, enough about that.
Now
So
we had some other talking point. So I'll let you take
y-
that one.
yeah, so to kind of go back, our hero of the week, of course, we're going to be highlighting Zenyatta, who is, of course, a support. So a lot of people, from what I've been reading, because I don't really get into conversations much on the internet. I like to kind of observe what people are saying, and then I talk about it on a podcast. So, a lot of people are kind of, I guess you could say, upset or more confused about the roles of supports here in Overwatch. Um, Obviously, these people have never played a multiplayer first-person shooter before, because anybody who plays Battlefields or if they've played in any kind of competitive structure in Halo, Gears of War, Counter-Strike, the support player is the one who's putting all the rounds downrange.
Yep.
You know, in Battlefield, the support has a massive freaking machine gun.
That's right.
I mean, come on.
You're laying down
And
that
they're
suppressing fire and
exactly their job is to make sure that their assaults, their recons, all of their objective-based players can get there via either suppressing fire or even by taking kills.
yep.
When you watch the Zenyatta video, of course, you see Zenyatta getting quite a few kills. I mean, it's not a foreign concept in first-person shooter games to have a support that can actually have kill threat. Um, and a lot of people are kind of like, whoa, wait, isn't she, like, or sorry, I keep referring to Zenyatta as a female.
It's just the A, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. But people, this isn't a MOBA, okay? We're not like playing Sona here, waving strings, healing and buffing people's damage. No, we're in a first-person shooter. We're here where the support is supposed to do damage. We're here where the support is to make a significant impact. And me, I'm a support player in MOBAs myself. I know all too well how to impact a game. Okay,
Exactly.
and they can have that kind of impact in a game in MOBAs. Here, we're in a completely different world. All right, we're in a completely different genre. Yes, there's heroes. Yes, there's ultimates. Not a MOBA. Get used to it. Supports are gonna do damage quite a bit, actually. If you saw how Mercy's sidearm
Yep.
actually took significant chunks off of a tank.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I was gonna say. Like you switch that sidearm, and my experience. I mean, I had the third most kills in my last match at BlizzCon,
yeah,
and
and,
because you just switch that sidearm and pluck, pluck,
mhm.
pluck, pluck, and they're gone. So.
And from what I see, supports are going to fill a much needed niche in not only team play but solo play as well. In solo play, like I believe the main reason why they are giving kill potential for supports is to kind of encourage people to actually play supports when they're playing by themselves.
Hmm.
You know, like when you're playing a MOBA, like I'll just reference a recent league game I played just earlier today. Nobody wanted to play support. Why? Because they can't do damage, blah, 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 blah. I think Blizzard is trying to go ahead and kind of break down the wall of, okay, supports can't do crap.
Hmm.
As you could clearly tell in the gameplay videos, they're wrecking face. So get used to it. If you don't like it, sorry, go play a different game. Because I don't
Exactly.
want you in my lobby.
You're helping out, and like the Zenyatta video, just sending all those orbs downstream. In the this is like what is the orb of discord that it does like the additional damage, and you just hook that
Yeah, the
on, and
Menti Buster.
they take that additional damage. You just target whoever you want. So, okay, let's take down Reinhardt, for example, and make him vulnerable. Go.
Hmm. Definitely. But basically, that's my thoughts of supports in a nutshell, especially when it comes to FPS games. What about you?
My history of I've played it a lot in Battlefield, trying to play the support role in there, and I really enjoyed that because I felt like kind of like I do think when I think back about playing as Mercy and things like that.
Hmm.
I think back of, I didn't do maybe a lot in those games, kill wise, but I helped accomplish the objective a lot. And I feel like in this game, not only can we help accomplish an objective, but I can make an active, you know, contribution to the match itself. I can get in their face and I can kill them if I have to. If one of my teammates happens to fall, I might be a support, but I can also stand as that last line of defense and take them out. And you know, I think back at Battlefield, like resupplying people and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
I guess I'm stuck in that Mercy because that's like I'm drawing on my only experience of playing Overwatch so far, and just how you know I could transition so quickly between. Okay, we got to take this objective. Or the biggest memory I have is defending the objective in the last match I played,
Right.
and I didn't die once in that match, and I thought that was I was surprised at that first of all, but
Hmm.
I remember like people were flooding in from the other team, and it was like okay, heal here, zoom over here, healing these people. They're coming in, and when people would come in and they were low on health, I would just send those rounds down there, and either they would back off or they'd be dead. And then the rest of us, I could get them healed up, and they could come back out and take care of the area again. And
Right.
I really really enjoy it. It's really rewarding gameplay. And yeah, like you said, it's a whole different environment from a MOBA where maybe you're just gonna feel like okay, well yeah, I just support and I just help out. I'm not gonna be the one that's taking the glory, I guess. But in this kind of game, I think you actually can take that glory because you can be offense, defense, special teams. I'll just borrow the football analogy.
Yeah, right. Every player on the team matters. The support more so than a lot of other supports in a lot of other games.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited to see how support comes out closer to the beta release.
And like we just see in the stream right there, like somebody just said, team coordination is key. Like with Zenyatta, when they target somebody,
Hmm.
you say, okay, I've got them debuffed. You guys, we're gonna take him down, or pick and choose, and you just rally around that person, and you kind of be
Definitely.
the team commander at that point, really. So
Hmm. You're the shot caller, basically.
yep,
It's like, hey, I've got Orba Discord on Farah, killer. Nice and
exactly.
simple. Um, so enough about that. Okay, I could talk about this for hours on end, and frankly, it would just piss me off. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. We're gonna be doing something new this week.
Yes.
Um, so I took earlier today. I took out to Twitter to see your guys' questions. What did you guys want us to answer? What were your burning, passionate questions? So
What did
I'm
you really
gonna.
want to know?
What did you really want to know? So I'm gonna answer a couple of questions here. Well, I'll pose it out. I'll throw it out into the world. Then Frosty will go ahead, chime in. I'll chime in. We'll have a little discussion. Then we'll move on to the next question, and then we'll jump into our hero spotlight and all that fun stuff. So the first question I have comes from Blazing Dragon 25 on Twitter. He asks, "How many more heroes will they be adding?"
We don't know.
Short answer: we don't know.
Now,
But go ahead.
we do have the posters, so we kind of know, okay, there's at least this many heroes that they maybe want to exist, and that's about all we know.
Right. But if we look at development cycles of Blizzard's history, we're gonna probably draw off of heroes here because guess what? It's another hero, another like hero team-based game. It might be a MOBA, but it is still by Blizzard and it's got the same concept of hero-based combat. So you see, they're releasing new people, of course, one at a time, but they're developing. They're going through a development cycle with them. So it might be a month or two, but then they'll release someone out into the world who's, of course, they got to make sure everything's polished, everything's balanced at all.
I,
But
I oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I do think that based on some of the comments they've made, they are going to have a finite number or they're going to have a kind of a ceiling and then maybe a one here or there after, because eventually you're going to have heroes that like they've said themselves, Blizzard has said that eventually you get more heroes and more heroes, you're going to start drawing on the same abilities, and you're going to
Mhm.
start having too much overlap. And they want these heroes to be really unique and stand out on their own, kind of like a comic book hero would. You don't have two Superman or two Batman, I guess. So
Right, and I agree with that completely.
eventually,
When you look at a game that's been around for a long time and pumped out heroes like at one point every other week, like League of Legends did, now there's what, like 130 something heroes, and you're just like, A, that's going to increase your barrier to entry, which is something that Blizzard has been working on keeping as low as possible. And two, it's just going to confuse the crap out of people because me, I've been playing League since before it released, so of course I know all the champions, but a new player, how are they going to learn the ability, skill sets, power spikes, etc. of 130 different characters
yeah,
without feeling incredibly daunted? So I do believe there's going to be a very finite number. We just don't know what that is, and we don't know how long it's going to take them to get there.
there you go.
So moving on, the last question we have comes from Pantong51 on Twitter. He's wondering about the API esports tournaments. He's thinking like is there going to be like a Hearthstone point system? Again, short answer: we have no flipping clue. Why? Because Blizzard, of course, hasn't said anything. We're not Blizzard employees, so we don't have any kind of inside information. I wish we did,
Yeah.
but the way I see it going down, actually, Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm kind of have very similar ranking structures in their ranked play or their competitive, game modes. So I actually see it being a lot probably closer to Heroes, where you're at rank X at the start and you climb by winning games, and then once you reach a certain point, you can start losing. Um, that's how I see it. What do you think about that, Bryce?
I think it's going to be, we kind of just have to see because they want to release, and if the esports come is kind of the attitude we're
Hmm.
getting from them. And like you said, we don't know any API or anything like that, but I could see them kind of sticking with the same general system. That it's working
Right.
for them right now. No reason to change something that's not obviously broken.
Exactly.
If it's not having a bunch of problems, then we'll just stick with it. If it's effective,
Hmm.
and if they need to change things, they'll change things. But they've already got kind of that system in place, so I think if they went ahead with it, it'd be probably the same thing.
Yeah, and as we well know, the community is already going to start pulling some sort of competitive environment out of this. I mean, once Heroes was available to the public, even in a very limited capability, people were running tournaments.
Yep,
I,
any way
I
they
don't.
could.
Yeah, it's not going to be any different with Overwatch. I can tell you that right now because a lot of the community that I've been talking to, they've been planning for months. I mean, they already are thinking about formats, the amount of players, bracket system, point system, round robin, group play. They've been going, we've been running the entire gamut thinking of great ways to actually, make a successful esports culture and constructive community out of this game. So it's going to be real interesting to see what the community comes up with and then what Blizzard decides to do with that.
Yep, it'll hit the ground running, like you said. They already know in the back of their mind what's going on. They're just not going to commit, of course, like you said.
Yeah,
They're just going to wait. When it
it's not
hits,
their focus.
yeah, they'll let that community take on, and we're ready.
Yes, please. Very much so. I know I'm ready.
We're set, so bring it on. And that was the last question you said, I think.
Yep, that will be our last question. So
I'm
why
gonna
don't we hop straight into our hero spotlight, shall we? You want to take that away?
Yes, let's roll with Zenyatta. So we're gonna go ahead and get this all going again, and I think hopefully we can get the video to work again, and I don't have to make it all go crazy. But it's not working. I don't know why we're having so many video issues today. But with Zenyatta, I'll just go ahead and flip it back to the two screen for now. We have some abilities. Basically, it all revolves around orbs, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about the orbs, we have the orb of destruction, which is you can shoot the orbs, and I think you can charge it up. It's kind of like Hanzo's arrow, I think, because you can like fire one, or you can
Or you
charge
can
them up
fire
and
like a
fire.
barrage. Yeah.
Yeah, you can send a whole bunch of them. And there's also the orb of harmony and the orb of discord, so you can help out. It's kind of like mercy, but with an orb, I guess. You
Mm-hmm.
can send out an orb to help your friends, and you can send out an orb of discord to debuff your enemies and have them take as much damage or additional damage as long as you remain alive as Zenyatta. And then, of course, your ultimate would be the Transcendence ultimate, and that's when I think you go invulnerable yourself when you're in
Hmm.
Transcendence, and then you heal, passively heal all of your teammates around you. And Zenyatta has an interesting backstory, being one of the Omnic robots themselves, but they were a monk and they lived up in the mountains, and he was in a monastery with a bunch of robots that, or well, I guess I'll just call them robots because I guess that's what they really are, and they kind of wanted to bring, I guess, harmony, you could say, between the humans and the robot society that we had existing at the time. And instead of kind of trying to do a bunch of teaching and unifying, as the bio says, Zenyatta set out on their own path and is out there walking the streets, helping people whenever they can, and being a good guy.
Yeah, basically, so what happened, like in the whole Omnic, universe, after the Omnic Crisis was, like a bunch of the Omnic robots, they decided, okay, well, let's create a cohesive, a coexisting society, and their message was embraced, and they became like globally famous, and Zenyatta didn't want anything to do with it because Zenyatta, he didn't believe in, getting like super famous and making like all kinds of money and stuff off of this. So he just kind of set off on his own and did his own thing.
He didn't want to start a
Um,
mega church.
exactly. He didn't want to be that pastor that flew in a private jet and sipped on champagne and had like a million different cars. But it's an interesting story. It's one that I'd like to see expanded on quite a bit.
Another one of those that could be a comic book or video very easily.
Hmm.
Just like Metzen
Most
said, all these are heroes that they have their own reason of being, and as we have explored ones in the past and as we'll do it in the future, I mean, they all have an interesting story and a diverse background of, whether they are a robot that is a robot monk or whether they were, an experiment, I guess you could say. Like
Most
some,
definitely. So that's going to bring us basically to the closing of our show, folks.
exactly.
As a reminder, again, beta is still slated for fall 2015, so wait patiently until spring of 2016. Um, make sure you've got your beta profiles set to get invited into the Overwatch closed beta. You can do that via your account settings. And if you do get an invite, I hate you with a fiery passion if you get one before me. But if I get one before you and then you come in, I will enjoy killing you.
There you go. Yes, make sure you do it, because if you don't, guess what? You're going to get left in the cold until the release date. And you never
Too
know.
bad, so sad.
Probably get pushed back a little bit, don't want it to, but you never know. It's Blizzard we're talking about, so probably
Most
you always got to
definitely.
account for that possible delay.
That possible delay?
Inevitable?
There we go.
It's not if, but when and
That's
how
more
long.
like it.
There we go.
Exact. It's no with Blizz. It's always soon trademark. Okay.
Yes, yes. Well, like you said, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for not only joining the stream and participating there and the pre-show as well, but also for interacting with us on Twitter. And you can always do that at Overwatch or Overcast Show, and also the Overcast Show.blogspot.com. That's where you can see the blog posts. And you'll find this also not only on video on demand here on our new Twitch channel, which we're excited to have our own dedicated Twitch channel. We got that all set up. And also you can find it over on the Frozen Fox Video YouTube channel. So you can watch to your heart's content. And that is it for the week. So
Most
episode 6
definitely.
is in the books.
Yes. So you guys can always find us hanging around on the internet. I'm at Matrix Overwatch. You can find Frosty over at Frosty Fox. Of course, you can always catch us on our main show's Twitter at Overcast Show. Don't forget also Blogspot. And another big shout out to Frozen Fox Radio. Thank you again for hosting all our services, and hopefully we can put out an even better show next week.
Yep. We will be back, and we are super excited. And we'll probably get more gameplay videos to go over in depth. So, and I'm guessing we're going to have more ideas of how these characters are going to interact as we see more of that. So I'm excited.
Most definitely.
All right. Well, with that out of the way, thank you all for coming, and we will see you next time.
Stay awesome, Gotham.